What is it going to do to the Carolinas?
All right, it's a lot of direct but indirect impacts, and the only reason why I say that, it's really the outskirts that are going to cause a big issue here. But Carlene, if you can give me an assist, can we pull up the Wrightsville beach camera? Because this is all right. Let me see. All right, so we can see the waves are pretty tubular right now if you're a surfer, and there's actually been a lot of people surfing those waves. However, surfers are some of the best swimmers out there. They are well trained, well versed in all of this. Now, not all people that are swimming in the ocean are as apt as far as surfers go. And the only reason I bring this up is I want to show you this, and this was staggering. I actually just stumbled upon this over the last hour. This is the rip current reports that we had along the shoreline, and at Wrightsville Beach, the source was a lifeguard and the beach attendants. That Wrightsville Beach ocean rescues reported yesterday were 60 to 70 rip current rescues between the hours of noon and 5 mainly. Wow. So across a 5-hour period, we're talking about 60 to 70 rescues. That is crazy. So if you're averaging that across that's almost about 1 every 5 minutes that was happening in Wrightsville Beach alone. And think about how far away Erin is right now. It's about 800 miles. It's, I think, 665 miles southwest of Bermuda. So that's how far away it is, and we're already seeing the impacts here. So I want just everyone to kind of keep those expectations alive. Surf City Beach, north of Wrightsville, had 15 rescues, and there was one in South Carolina already. So there it is. Over the next 4 days, there's going to be a high risk for rip currents. A storm of this magnitude could be 1,000 miles away and cause dangerous rip currents. Just the way the topography is of our shorelines, it's ideal making for rip currents. And I want to bring this to both of your attention. This is a stat that just continues to blow my mind. Over the last quarter of a century, so the last 24 years technically, there's been more rip current deaths along our Carolina coast compared to tornadoes, floods, lightning, wind, and tropical storms combined.
That's wild, but I believe it.
Yeah, we see it all the time, just because we're
big tourist spots.
Exactly, and most of those are people that don't live there. Right. It's the ones that aren't as experienced. So I tell you, is like, hey, you could be an experienced swimmer. The problem is people panic, and I was at the beach this past week, and every time I went in, I literally thought, if I start to feel like I'm getting pulled out, I'm going to calmly swim parallel to the shoreline. That's the main thing. Just you got to try to get out of it, and you just got to be mentally prepared, because the people all of a sudden aren't paying attention, because oftentimes you can have a current that's pulling you down the beach. So I just wanted to bring that up as impact number one. We've already seen it, multiple rescues. Now it's a hazard. There's likely going to be a lot of those double red flags along the shoreline over the next few beach, meaning it's too dangerous if you go in the water. So you already had 4 days out, essentially, that many rescues. I can't imagine what's going to happen if people are going to challenge the currents today and then again tomorrow. That's where the seas are not friendly for anyone, even for surfers. They're pushing a little bit. So Hurricane Erin, the most recent update, that was at 8 o'clock, which, by the way, every 3 hours is going to be an update here. The only times you can have an hourly one is when it's approaching landfall. This, luckily, is not expected to make a direct landfall, but a lot of the outer bands are going to provide really a bad scenario for the Outer Banks, even though the center circulation is still about 200, 250 offshore. So 110, that's the sustained winds that were most recently measured, 140 gusts still, and we'll have a new update at 11 o'clock. But that brings us into a high-end Category 2, technically just outside of the major hurricane status, but only 1 mile per hour away from being a major Category 3. I think that there's a chance that this starts to build back towards that, hovering around this range over the next 24 hours. Then by tomorrow afternoon, it's nearing the Carolinas, and at this point, it's just a bad scenario for rip currents and just the surf in general. But that little area of yellow you see there is actually a tropical storm watch, and also embedded in there is a storm surge watch as well. So the center of Erin will officially be due east of North Carolina, I would say late morning heading into the early afternoon on Thursday. That area of red is the center and the general cone where the hurricane winds are going to be. It's not factoring in how massive this storm is becoming. So our other tropical alerts, as I mentioned, the storm surge watch, because even so far out, this thing is so big because any hurricane picks up just a bulge of water and then sends it towards the shoreline. So you're still anticipating anywhere, I would say, for a 1 to 4 foot storm surge along the coast, but the Outer Banks specifically could be as much as 3 to 6. So 6 is the worst case scenario here. I don't think we get to the 6 to 9. And compared to yesterday, this thing is also trending a little bit further west as well. Look at the size of this. So for our futurecast wind gust, the area of pink is representing anywhere from about a 50 to 75 plus mile per hour wind gust. So we're approaching hurricane force winds at that point. But notice how big it is. If I were to take our measuring tool, and let's just do this real quickly, it's going to get a little convoluted, and just measure the area of pink that we have here at 50 plus mile per hour winds. And that's not even just the pure size of this. And now I'm going to measure the entirety of the Carolinas. Essentially, the chance of gusts over 50 miles per hour is the width of the Carolinas about how big this thing is. So here's a better look at our surface map where you're going to see the tight rotation. For one, the reason why it's weakening right now is it's lost its eye wall. So it's still trying to generate that. I think it's going to be a more impressive signature once it gets a little bit closer to us. But notice how close this thing comes. It's directly beelining towards the Carolinas over the next 24 hours. But then it starts to shift to the north. Talk about your saving grace. This stationary front right here, this little low pressure system, that's putting up the Heisman. That's blocking this storm from making a direct impact. This would be huge if this was making a direct landfall into the Carolinas. It has been a while since we had a storm this strong. Think about it. Florence was actually Category 1 when it made landfall. I think it's going to be still borderline Category 3 once it even gets close to the Carolinas. So what's going to happen is that stationary front is eventually going to get broken up, but it's just enough to keep everything offshore. There's still going to be some rain on the eastern side of the Carolinas. You're seeing some of that white that's representing the cloud cover to the eastern side of the state because everything starts to spread out. Any rain that we see a little bit closer to Charlotte is all going to be because of this approaching cold front that's pushing its way in. So that's going to be the newest update that we have for Erin. Outside of that, for our 7-day forecast, the only way that we're really going to be affected by this is just going to be a slight cool down. High temperatures right around 80 degrees for your Friday, as we have the best chance for rain late Thursday into Friday, breaking up on Saturday before we're back to normal in the upper 80s. We'll continue to keep you updated with Erin as it starts to drag in. Next big pertinent updates around 11 o'clock, and then we'll have one of our meteorologists back here in the Impact Studio to keep you in the know.
Chris, thank you as always for